Welcome to the 2026 Community Economic Development Notice of Funding Opportunity Pre-Application Presentation. This presentation provides prospective applicants of the Community Economic Development Program with details about the 2026 CED grant competition. We will be referring to the Community Economic Development Program as the CED program throughout this presentation. This presentation will review the 6 steps for responding to the Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO. The information presented mirrors the information and structure you will find in the NOFO. The 2026 CED NOFO is now available on grants.gov and the CED website. The Administration for Children and Families at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, through its Office of Community Services, wants to bring to your attention some important details. ACF requires applications to be electronically submitted via www.grants.gov. The deadline for electronic application submission is 11:59 p.m. Eastern on the due date specified in the NOFO. The deadline for receipt of paper applications is 4:30 p.m. Eastern on this date. To submit a paper application, you must obtain an exemption in advance. More details about submitting your application can be found in Step 5. Each applicant may only upload 2 electronic files, one for the project narrative and another for other attachments. This combined page limit for files 1 and 2 is 200 pages. All application materials must be included in these 2 files. Additional files that are loaded into grants.gov as part of the project narrative or attachments, such as resumes, evidence of site control, etc., will be removed from the competitive review file and not reviewed by the panel. The exceptions to this are the standard forms and OMB approved forms, which will not be counted as additional files. Step 3 will provide additional information about what to include in these files. Adobe Acrobat is compatible for use with grants.gov. However, we recommend using the grants.gov compatible version of Adobe Portable Document Format, or PDF. PDF is the recommended format, but other acceptable formats are outlined in the NOFO. Read the troubleshooting page on grants.gov for more information. Step 3 will also provide additional information on this, including accepted file formats for submission. First, we will walk through Step 1, Review the Opportunity. This section provides you with an overview of the program and eligibility. The CED program creates quality jobs and provides wraparound services that help individuals with low incomes become economically self-sufficient. The program is based on 3 pillars: creating high-quality, permanent, full-time jobs for individuals with low income eligible to work in the U.S., lowering barriers to employment by providing support services that help new hires succeed and remain employed, and promoting community revitalization by funding economic development in local communities. For fiscal year 2026, $17.48 million is available to fund CED projects. The CED program is administered by the Administration for Children and Families at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services through its Office of Community Services, or OCS. OCS anticipates funding approximately 22 CED projects for fiscal year 2026. The minimum award level for individual CED projects this year is $100,000. The maximum award level for individual CED projects this year is $800,000. The length of each project, also known as the project period, is 3 years for projects not involving construction and 4 years for projects involving construction. To receive an award, applicants must be a Qualified Community Development Corporation, or CDC. CDCs are private, nonprofit organizations. The premise is that nonprofit CDCs know their community and are poised to efficiently and effectively create new community economic development projects there. To be a qualified applicant, you must meet and demonstrate all 3 of the following conditions. First, you must be a private, nonprofit CDC with 501c3. Second, you must have articles of incorporation or bylaws demonstrating that your organization has a principal purpose of planning, developing, or managing of low-income housing or community economic development projects. And finally, your board of directors must have representation from the following 3 groups: community residents, business leaders, and civic leaders. Individuals, including sole proprietorships, federal entities, and foreign entities are not eligible. Faith-based and community organizations that meet these requirements are also eligible to apply. The same statute applies to organizations regardless of whether they are faith-based. This program has no cost-sharing requirement, meaning you do not need to contribute to the costs of this project. If you choose to include cost-sharing funds, it will not be considered during review. However, you will be held accountable for any funds you add, including through reporting. If you don't provide your promised amount, your award amount may be decreased or be subject to other enforcement actions. CED funds may be used for a wide variety of business startup or expansion activities, as consistent with 2 CFR Part 200, as long as they create full-time positions. These activities include startup capital for operating expenses, such as salaries, facilities, and equipment that will be replaced by projected earnings. Loans to identified, viable participating businesses. These loans must be at or below market rate. Equity or stock investment in identified, viable participating businesses. Providing support services to employees of the participating businesses. You can provide support services either directly or in partnership with service providers. Construction. Other types of business development activities that lead to measurable job creation. And travel for key project staff to attend ACF-sponsored workshops, conferences, or recipient orientations. Now, we will talk more about project types. CED-funded projects can be considered non-construction or construction projects. Projects are considered non-construction projects if they involve limited alteration or renovation, costing the lesser of $250,000, or 25% of total direct costs, to support participating business creation and/or expansion and job creation. Non-construction projects typically involve a loan or equity investment in participating businesses. The grant period for non-construction projects is 3 years. If you are applying for a 3-year non-construction project, clearly specify this in your application. Applicants proposing non-construction projects must create a minimum number of jobs using the following formula. Total amount of federal CED funds awarded divided by $27,000 equals minimum number of jobs to be created. For example, if a recipient is awarded $800,000 in CED funds, it must use that money to conduct activities that will create at least 29 jobs. $800,000 divided by $27,000 equals 29.6. This program only counts full-time jobs, so as a result, 29.6 means a minimum of 29 jobs must be created. Note: priority is not given to applications that propose creating more jobs than the required minimum. Projects are considered construction projects if they require construction or renovation prior to job creation. This is regardless of whether the construction is funded by federal funds or owned by the recipient or a participating business. The grant period for construction projects is 4 years. If you're applying for a 4-year construction project, clearly specify this in your application. Applicants proposing construction projects must propose to create at least a minimum number of jobs using the following formula. Total amount of federal CED funds awarded divided by $32,000 equals minimum number of jobs to be created. For example, if a recipient is awarded $800,000 in CED funds, it must use that money to conduct activities that will create at least 25 jobs. $800,000 divided by $32,000 equals 25. It is important to note the following. Projects that involve construction are not required to create jobs until construction is complete. Projects that do not involve construction can begin job creation earlier within the project period. Therefore, projects involving construction are expected to create fewer jobs than those that do not involve construction. Short-term construction jobs associated with preparing for participating business startup or expansion are not counted when determining the number of jobs created under the CED program, as they are designed to be temporary. And all environmental and historic preservation requirements must be fulfilled before award, or before drawdown of funds. For more information, please see the Construction Projects subsection of the Project Types section of Step 1. Depending on the type of CED activities your project entails, you may be subject to rules related to real and intangible property. Intangible property is property having no physical existence, such as trademarks, copyrights, patents, and patent applications, loans, notes, or other debt instruments, or lease agreements, stock, and other instruments of property ownership. Many CED projects involve a loan or equity investment in participating businesses and are therefore subject to rules related to intangible property. Intangible property can apply to both construction and non-construction projects. Read the federal requirements related to intangible property in the NOFO very carefully, as they may apply to all projects where CED funds are used for activities like loans or equity investments. In instances where you propose to loan money or have an equity investment in a third-party participating business, you own the note on the intangible property, not the real property itself. The third-party participating business is the property owner of record. As such, the federal interest is in the debt instrument as an intangible property, and not the property. The intangible property, such as loans, equity investments, stocks, and other debt instruments, are subject to the 12-year rule set forth in the appropriations language and outlined in the NOFO. For ACF property-related policy and guidance, refer to the ACF website. Any CED project with construction activities that must be completed before jobs can be created is considered a construction project regardless of funding source or ownership. However, real property requirements apply only when the recipient owns the property. Real property is defined as land, including land improvements, structures, and appurtenances, affixed equipment, and legal interest in land, including fee interest, licenses, rights of way, and easements. Real property does not include movable machinery and equipment. Recipients using federal funding directly for construction, renovations, or to acquire a facility or land for the project must file a Notice of Federal Interest, or NFI. You are encouraged to read the federal requirements related to real property carefully, as they apply when federal funds are used to acquire, construct, or renovate real property, and the recipient owns the property. For ACF property-related policy and guidance, please refer to the ACF website. Next, we will discuss some additional policies and limitations. First, please note that as of October 1, 2025, HHS adopted 2 CFR 200, with some exceptions included in 2 CFR 300. These regulations replace those in 45 CFR 75. Please ensure your project is in alignment with the regulations set forth in 2 CFR 200. First, please note that no CED funds may be used for any diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, DEI, and DEIA activities. This includes DEI, or DEIA-related research, activities that discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, or other protected traits, and any efforts that promote a discriminatory equity ideology. Additionally, you may not use funds awarded under this NOFO to support any services or activities that teach or promote gender ideology. Now, we will cover costs that CED grant funds may not be used for. Reimbursement of pre-award costs, subawards or pass-throughs, capitalizing loan loss reserve funds, providing loans in which repayment begins after the end of the funding project period, creating or expanding micro-enterprise business training and technical assistance centers, providing as a primary activity job training, placement of individuals into existing positions, and technical assistance. Limited job training activities can only be supported if they are provided specifically for the new positions created. For example, funds can be used to train a cashier for a specific position that has been created with CED funds, but funds cannot be used to operate a general job training, and placing individuals in jobs that existed prior to the proposed CED project. Next, indirect costs are costs you charge across more than one project and cannot be easily separated by project. All indirect costs must be charged at either your approved rate or the de minimis rate. Carefully review the NOFO for more information on which method to use for calculating indirect rates. Additional policies and limitations to consider are: CED grant funds may not be used for subawards or pass-throughs. This program is subject to the salary rate limitations set in the current Appropriations Act. You may not use awarded funds to pay a salary at a higher rate than the rate for Executive Level 2. Please see guidance from the Office of Personnel Management on executive and senior level employee pay for more information. You must use any program income you generate from awarded funds for approved project-related activities. Program income is money earned as a result of your award-supported project activities. Now, we will discuss Step 2, Get Ready to Apply, which includes getting registered for the necessary accounts and finding the application package. Your entity must have an active registration with SAM.gov. This includes having a unique entity identifier and SAM.gov registration. This process can take several weeks, so we suggest you start that process today. To register, go to SAM.gov, Entity Registration, and click Get Started. From the same page, you can also click on the Entity Registration checklist for the information you will need to register. You must also have an active account with grants.gov. This requires a login.gov registration as well. Please note that this may take several days. You can see step-by-step instructions at the grants.gov Quick Start Guide for applicants. If you require help with either of these processes, please see the Contacts and Support section of the NOFO for the appropriate contact. The application package has all the forms you need to apply. You can find it online by going to Search Grants at grants.gov and search for the opportunity number. Then, click the Package tab. If you can't use grants.gov to download application materials or have other technical difficulties, including issues with application submission, contact grants.gov for assistance. If you are unable to apply through grants.gov, see details about exemptions for paper submissions in Step 5 of the NOFO. Unless you receive an exemption in writing form from an ACF grants officer, all applications must be submitted electronically. For further assistance, you may reach out to the Grants Management contact listed in the NOFO. Now, we will discuss some of the general format requirements for submitting an application for a CED grant, as discussed in Step 3, Build your application. You must submit and upload all required elements and supporting documentation in 2 files, the project narrative and other attachments. PDF files are recommended, but the NOFO also lists other accepted file formats in Step 3. All submissions, inclusive of the project narrative and the other attachments, are limited to 200 pages total. Details about the items included in each file can be found in Step 3, Build your application. These 2 files and page limitations do not include standard forms or OMB approved forms. An example of such a form is the SF424. These forms will be submitted separately, as directed in the online system. Applications with additional files will be amended, and files will be removed from the review. Please note that unsupported file formats, blurred or illegible pages, extra files, and pages exceeding the page limit may be removed before review. In the next 2 slides, we will discuss the details of what these 2 files must include. The project narrative file must include the items on this slide. At the beginning of File 1, add a table of contents that guides a reader through the contents of both files in your application, and if possible, add links to the relevant content. Next, add a 1-page summary containing the project description that does not cross-reference other parts of the application. Refer to the NOFO for specifics on what the summary must include. Then, you will provide the project narrative and line item budget, and budget narrative. Please note that there are additional subsections under the main sections listed on this slide. You can find all sections and subsections in the NOFO. Keep in mind the narrative of your application may include references to supporting documentation that may be included in the Other Attachments file. In such instances, provide clear references using item name, location, and page numbers. For example, you may include a reference to the letters of support that are included in the application, and then include the actual letters in the Other Attachments file. The Other Attachments file must include the items presented on this slide. All items should be organized clearly in the table of contents of File 1, Project Narrative. Keep in mind, all submissions, inclusive of the project narrative and other attachments, are limited to 200 pages total. You will need to complete other standard forms. This slide lists forms that may be applicable and necessary to submit on grants.gov. These forms are not included in the page limit. It is very important to read Step 3, Build Your Application, very closely. All applications must be submitted electronically using www.grants.gov. If you do not have an internet connection or the computing capacity to upload large files, then you must request and obtain an exemption to submit a paper application prior to the closing date. In Step 5, Submit Your Application, see the section on Exemptions for Paper Submissions for more details on requesting an exemption. Keep in mind, there may be some differences in application formatting and submission requirements for paper applications, so pay close attention to those requirements in the NOFO. For this presentation, we will focus on the requirements for electronic applications. All applications, both paper and electronic, must use black 12-point font in Times New Roman, except for footnotes, which may be 10-point Times New Roman. Do not include external links to information reviewers should assess. The parts of the application that have specific spacing requirements are listed on this slide. All sections without explicit requirements in the NOFO may be single or double-spaced. Now, we will discuss how reviewers will review and score applications, as detailed in Step 4. Learn about review and award. As you put together your application, refer to the evaluation criteria in this section, as well as the corresponding language in Step 3. An initial review will occur to determine if an application meets the responsiveness requirements listed in the Disqualification Factors section of the NOFO. Applications that are submitted late, request over the maximum funding level of $800,000, are submitted by an ineligible entity, submitted on paper without an approved exemption, or missing proof of the 3 eligibility conditions will not be reviewed. Additionally, no more than 2 files will be provided to the panel to read and review. We will also remove blurred or ineligible pages and any file formats that are not supported. Once an application passes the initial screening, it will be reviewed and scored based on its responsiveness to the scoring criteria in Step 4 of the NOFO. It will be reviewed and scored by a panel composed of non-federal community economic development professionals and other social service professionals. The application will be reviewed for content completeness. Therefore, a very important aspect of the application is the inclusion of all documentation needed to support written statements. The easiest way to certify that your organization is covering all of the bases is by submitting all of the elements in the application checklist, presented in Step 3 of the NOFO, and carefully reviewing the details of the scoring criteria in Step 4 of the NOFO. The project summary should include a brief description of the project, including the needs and population you will address, and your proposed services or research questions, as we discussed earlier in this presentation. In the NOFO, Step 3 provides a summary of application requirements, and Step 4 provides information on how the criteria are evaluated and ranked in competition with other applications. A list of the scoring criteria and additional bonus criteria are presented on this slide. Remember that while you know you have a great project, how the project is described and the supporting evidence in the application package is extremely important. While we ask you to be concise, you also must ensure that reviewers who know community development, but who don't know your challenges or your community, are provided enough information to see the success of the project in a very short time period. We will now review the scoring criteria. The first evaluation criterion, purpose and need, is worth 5 points. In this section, identify the area the project will be located and the problems you plan to solve with the project in that area. To meet this criterion, describe a specific community that will benefit from your project, including physical boundaries and the participant or beneficiary information, and Describe how the project's objectives for high-quality job creation, individual self-sufficiency, and community revitalization align with existing economic development objectives and efforts in the local community. In the Approach section, the second evaluation criterion, you will outline your action plan in detail and the timeline in which you will accomplish it. To do that, provide a complete project action and implementation plan that accounts for all functions and activities identified in the application. The plan describes the scope of the proposed project, along with addressing potential challenges and including strategies to overcome them. Provide a viable recruitment strategy that demonstrates at least 75% of positions will be filled by eligible individuals with low income. The strategy should show how support services align to the population that will be recruited. The application must also show a high likelihood of success in creating the required amount of full-time positions before the end of the project period. Finally, provide a timeline for your project that includes milestones. The timeline will organize the information by task, provide projections, provide target dates, and cover the full period of performance. When developing this section of your application, carefully review the Approach and Project Timeline and Milestone section in Step 3 of the NOFO for specific details needed in this section. The third evaluation criterion is the Community Revitalization section, worth 15 points. In this section, you must demonstrate that your organization is active in the community that your project will serve by including a description of active partnerships with local groups, businesses, or organizations. These may include local businesses, schools, banks, nonprofit organizations, and other community groups. Describe how you engage community members in developing the project design. Describe how the project is unique to the community and how local resources will be used to contribute to development. Describe how the project will contribute to community revitalization that improves the lives of individuals currently living in the community, and demonstrate how the project will actively discourage the involuntary displacement of individuals and families currently living in the community. In the next section, Resources and Capabilities, you will need to discuss the organizational capacity, plan for oversight of federal award funds and activities, and protection of sensitive or confidential information. You will need to provide evidence that the organization, staff, and project partners have sufficient overall experience to carry out the projects. You can show this through evidence of 2 business creation or business expansion projects undertaken by the applicant or project partner in the last 10 years that are similar in scope or scale to the CED project being requested, and that were successful in creating sustainable, full-time, full-year positions. You will also need to provide the following: both a quantitative and qualitative description of the jobs created through past business creation or expansion projects, a resolution, meeting minutes, or other documentation showing that the Board of Directors has granted approval for the proposed project, a list of staff who will be responsible for maintaining oversight for program activities, staff, and partners, as well as a description of procedures and policies to oversee staff, partners, or contractors, and evidence of a viable partnership with a more experienced partner, if needed. In addition, to meet this criteria, provide evidence that the identified staff have sufficient skills and experience in supervision, finance, business development, business management, and working with the target population to implement the project. You should show this with sufficient detail through biographical sketches, degree information, resumes, and descriptions of previous experience. Evidence that key staff have enough time available to carry out the proposed project, and a clear statement on whether all key staff positions are filled, and the required documentation for unfilled positions. In cases where a key staff person has not yet been hired by your organization or third parties, the application shows that an appropriate position description, recruitment strategy, and estimated hiring timeline have been developed. This section must also include a plan to collect and protect any confidential or sensitive information from staff, project participants, and project beneficiaries. See the Protection of Sensitive or Confidential Information section of the NOFO for more information. And you must provide a plan to manage the proposed federal funds responsibly and to adequately protect any federal funds awarded under the application through a financial management system. More detail regarding the resource and capabilities scoring requirements can be found in the Scoring Criteria section of the NOFO and the corresponding project narratives. The next criteria make up the most substantial part of your application, the business plan. It is broken down into 3 criteria: participating business viability, 13 points; high quality job creation, 13 points; and barrier reduction support services, 15 points. The total point value for this section is 41 points. In the participating business viability portion of the business plan, worth 13 points, describe the viability of all participating businesses of the proposed project. To do so, for each participating business, describe whether this is a new business creation or an existing business expansion, and what the participating business will use CED funds for. This includes a description of the business and how many positions the business will create. Describe the business structure, ownership details, and information about the management team and their qualifications. Describe in detail the goods and services provided by the business. Explain how the business will attract and retain customers, its pricing strategy, and the sales process. Identify any potential compliance issues and provide a plan to address them. Provide a signed third-party agreement with participating businesses. For projects with equity or stock investments, provide draft copies of the equity stock investment agreement with all participating businesses. For projects with loans, provide draft copies of the loan agreements with all participating businesses. In addition, to meet this criteria for each participating business, explain the basis for projected business earnings for the participating business, including documentation that shows financial viability. Describe the recent market research or industry data published within the past 5 years that identifies the industry's short and long-term outlook. Describe how the participating business will be viable in terms of competition, anticipated market, customer base, and market trends, and show evidence that you or the participating business controls the site and facilities necessary for the success of the project, or that site control depends only on the receipt of the grant award, as outlined in the evidence of site control attachment. In the high-quality job creation section of the business development plan, worth 13 points, you will need to explain how participating businesses will create high-quality positions that will allow hired individuals to achieve self-sufficiency. To do so, describe how your project will meet job creation requirements. Show the total number and types of new full-time, full-year positions that will be created. To demonstrate this, include a table showing position title, a summary of duties associated with the position, anticipating starting wage or salary and accompanying benefits, and a projection of wage or salary growth opportunities. Also include data published within the past 5 years, illustrating that the wages to be paid by the positions being created are adequate for self-sufficiency within the geographic area in which the businesses will be located. Additionally, you must also provide evidence that the participating businesses will offer comprehensive employee benefits to those who fill the newly created positions, including at least 3 of the following: healthcare benefits, retirement benefits, paid leave, career growth opportunities, flexible and predictable work hours, opportunities to play a meaningful role in the business, and additional benefits that can contribute to the self-sufficiency of the employee. In addition to these benefits, you can describe how employees will be supported in achieving career growth and advancement, including any training, educational, or certification opportunities that participating businesses will provide. To meet the criteria under this section, you must also describe how the positions will be created during the project period and sustained for at least 2 years after the end of the grant period. This should include the steps that will be taken to set up the project for success and position it for continued success after the end of the grant period. And finally, describe how employees will be supported in achieving career growth and advancement, including any training, educational, or certification opportunities that participating businesses will provide. In the Barrier Reduction Support Services section of the business plan, worth 15 points, demonstrate the specific needs of the target population of the area your project plans to serve, and a plan for how support services to meet those needs will help reduce personal and community barriers to economic security. To do so, publish relevant evidence published within the past 5 years that both the unemployment rate and the poverty rate within the census tracts or zip code of the project's location are equal to or greater than the state or national poverty rate. Describe how the project will provide support services to employees to help reduce personal and community barriers to economic security. Describe the types of services that you or a project partner will provide for newly hired eligible individuals. Examples may include childcare, transportation, and substance use disorder treatment. And describe the link between the support services and specific needs of the target potential job holders. Additionally, demonstrate you or your project partner has capacity and prior experience to successfully deliver these services. If project partners will be providing these services, ensure the application includes signed third-party agreements describing the support services to be provided, how and when they will be provided, and the role the partner organization will play in furthering the goals of the CED project. Agreements must be signed and dated by both the applicant and social service provider staff, with signature authority. For more information on third-party agreements, review the requirements outlined in the project narrative section of the NOFO for this criteria. And lastly, demonstrate that a staff member exists within the applicant organization or will be hired who has the ability, skills, resources, and time to connect hired individuals with social supports and/or coordinate with social service providers to execute third-party agreements. In the project budget and budget justification section, worth 10 points. Reviewers assess whether the proposed budget is complete, reasonable, necessary, and clearly tied to the project plan and expected outcomes. Specifically, you must show that you have sufficient funds available conditioned only on receipt of this grant award and that all other resources are secured. Include detailed line items in your budget that support the project plan and desired outcomes. Include funds for all required items in your budget, including travel for one staff member to attend a training and technical assistance conference in Washington, D.C. during at least 1 year of the grant. Show that planned expenditures are necessary, appropriate, and reasonable for project success, and that the amount of funds available for the project matches the level of effort necessary to accomplish the activities, goals, and objectives. Additionally, the budget must itemize sources and uses of funds for both CED and non-CED funding sources necessary to carry out the project. Provide budget justification that clearly links the proposed expenditures to the proposed activities by demonstrating that each budget line item in the budget justification is appropriate, necessary, and reasonable for accomplishing the proposed project. Ensure that the CED cost per position created is equal to or less than the ratio found by dividing the requested award amount by $32,000 for construction projects or $27,000 for non-construction projects. And call out any properties that will be used and for which funds will be charged to this grant as a direct or indirect cost. For projects that involve non-CED funding to carry out the project, provide evidence that all capital requirements have been met through financing, cash resources, or in-kind contributions. Provide evidence in the form of signed commitment letters of binding commitments for loans, municipal, federal, or state tax credits, equity stock investments, or other supporting grants or contributions totaling at least the amount of non-CED funds necessary. Provide evidence of your ability to contribute any non-CED cash resources needed for the project and that you have pledged in support of the project. For example, this can be a financial statement of cash available. And provide evidence of in-kind contributions of personal property and show how the value of those contributions was established through techniques such as an inventory valuation for equipment or a certified appraisal for real property. For projects with only CED funding, demonstrate your ability to implement a successful project and accomplish its goals with only CED funds. And finally, for construction projects, demonstrate that the budget includes all construction costs, and all costs are appropriately justified as reasonable and necessary to carry out the activities proposed in the application. Please carefully review the line item budget and budget narrative section in the project narrative of the NOFO for more detail. The Letters of Support section demonstrates sufficient public support to successfully carry out the project. This section is worth 3 points. To demonstrate public support, you must provide letters from local or regional government agencies or community organizations that show sufficient public support to successfully carry out the project. The letters must include the individual writing the letter, the organization they represent, the date, and their reasons for supporting the proposed project. The next evaluation criteria is alignment with ACF vision, missions, values, priorities, and guiding principles, worth a total of 10 points. ACF's published vision, mission, values, priorities, and guiding principles inform programmatic and administrative expectations under this funding opportunity. Applicants must demonstrate their project is in alignment with and will advance relevant ACF priorities through program design and evaluation. To do this, applicants must clearly identify one or more relevant ACF priorities and explain how those priorities are reflected in the proposed approach. Applicants are encouraged to provide examples of prior experiences that can show alignment efforts have already been achieved. Examples should describe strategies used, measurable results, if available, and lessons learned. To meet the requirements of this evaluation criterion, you must demonstrate a clear, specific, and measurable connection between the proposed project and the identified ACF priorities, which are promoting work and self-sufficiency, and ensuring value alignment in funding. To meet the first sub-criterion, you must clearly explain how those priorities relate to the proposed project. To meet the next sub-criterion, you must also translate the identified ACF priorities into specific elements of the proposed project by connecting identified ACF priorities to program design, service delivery, and implementation, demonstrating how priorities influence partnerships, staffing, or key program decisions, and by providing clear, actionable examples of how alignment will be carried out in practice. And finally, to meet this criteria, you must integrate the identified ACF priorities in measurable outcomes and outgoing program improvement. To do this, demonstrate that the proposed project aligns performance measures and expected outcomes with identified priorities. Include evaluation methods or performance indicators that reflect those priorities, and describes how data will be used for continuous quality improvement. The total point value for this criteria is 10 points. Scores will reflect the strength, clarity, and specificity of those connections. High-scoring applications will demonstrate clear understanding, intentional integration, and measurable alignment with ACF priorities across all 3 criteria. Moderate-scoring applications may reference ACF priorities but provide limited specificity, uneven integration, or minimal connection to measurable outcomes. Low-scoring applications will show minimal or unclear understanding of ACF priorities and lack meaningful connection to program design or performance. The last elements we will discuss are the 2 opportunities for bonus points. They are a total of 7 points. The opportunities are projects coordinating with existing public or private workforce development or job training programs. Project located in an underserved community. This includes rural communities, persistent poverty counties, qualifying areas, and states or trust territories without an active CED job creation grant. Carefully review the NOFO for more information on what is required to demonstrate to receive these bonus points. Now, we will discuss the process for submitting your CED application outlined in Step 5. Submit your application. Both first-time and repeat applicants are strongly encouraged to review this information well in advance of the application deadline. Applicants should not rely on deadline extensions. The NOFO allows extensions only in limited emergency circumstances, such as documented natural disasters or verifiable widespread service disruptions. All applications must be received by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on the due date via grants.gov. Applications submitted after this deadline will not be reviewed. You must complete 3 registrations in order to submit a grant application. System for Award Management, or SAM, registration, updated annually. Unique Entity Identifier, or UEI, and grants.gov registration. Please note that the registration process for grants.gov and SAM can take from several days, but also up to several weeks. All applicants are strongly encouraged to review this information well in advance of the application deadline. Applications submitted by an authorized organizational representative, or AOR, that does not have current registrations will be rejected by grants.gov. For detailed guidance on how to register and update registration for all 3 systems, please visit the Register and Get Ready resource available on the ACF website at the URL listed on this slide. Closely review the application checklist included in Step 3 to ensure all components of the application are included. If you experience a systems issue with grants.gov or sam.gov, please refer to ACF's Policy for Applicants Experiencing Federal Systems Issues. ACF may extend an application due date and receipt time when circumstances such as natural disasters occur, such as floods, hurricanes, etc., when there are widespread disruptions of mail service, or in other rare cases. The determination to extend or waive due date and receipt time requirements rests with ACF's Chief Grants Management Officer. Applications are required to be submitted electronically at www.grants.gov unless the applicant has received an exemption in writing from the ACF Grants Officer. Details about how to obtain waivers are described in the NOFO under Step 5. If a waiver is granted, hard copy applications are due 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Refer to the funding announcement for the address to submit an application. Applicants submitting applications electronically do not need to provide additional copies of their application materials. Electronically submitted applications will be considered late and disqualified if the date or timestamp is after 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on the due date. Detailed instructions on submitting applications electronically are available on the grants.gov website. Finally, we will discuss what successful applicants can expect after grant awards are made, as outlined in Step 6. Learn what happens after award. There are important rules you'll need to follow if you get an award. You must follow all terms and conditions in the Notice of Award. The rules listed in 2 CFR 200, Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements. The HHS Grants Policy Statement, or GPS. This document has terms and conditions tied to your award. If there are any exceptions to the GPS, they'll be listed in your Notice of Award. All federal statutes and regulations relevant to federal financial assistance, including those highlighted in HHS Administrative and National Policy Requirements. See also ACF Administrative and National Policy Requirements. 45 CFR Part 87, Appendix B, Equal Treatment for Faith-Based Organizations, and Consolidated Appropriations Act, 2026, Pub L 119-75. Prospective applicants should also note the important post-award requirements outlined in Step 6. Learn what happens after award. Recipients of funding under the CED program are required to submit performance progress and financial reports periodically throughout their project period. These forms include the Performance Progress Report, or the PPR, which is submitted by recipients on a quarterly basis to report on key outcomes, including businesses created and expanded, jobs created, and funds leveraged. It is submitted through the Grant Solutions Online Data Collection, or OLDC system. Financial reports are submitted semi-annually and are used by recipients to report expenditures and federal transactions. Additionally, it is expected that, for all facility-related projects, the applicable OMB-approved SF429 forms will be submitted along with supporting documents in the Grant Solutions OLDC system. Depending on the nature of the project, recipients may also be required to submit one or more additional forms. More information on what forms need to be submitted and when will be provided upon receiving the award. Several reference websites are included in the NOFO that may be of use in putting together an application. These websites are also listed on this slide. This concludes our presentation on the 2026 CED Notice of Funding Opportunity.